Now, I haven't been on YouTube for a little short time. I have missed a whole week of uploading because we've been going through some family crisis. My mother-in-law is very ill, and so we just had so much to think about and so much we've been going through as a family. And this Prism eyeshadow I was going to review a week ago, but I didn't get a chance to do it because it's been really busy. I haven't really been uploading for the past week, but I'm back and I wanted to start with this review. Even though I have very mixed feelings about this palette, I just wanted to come on here and share with you what my thoughts are, and these are strictly my own opinion. I bought this palette when it first launched, and I wanted to be one of the first people to talk about this, but of course now it's 3 weeks into it and I'm just starting to talk about this. Just doing swatches on your hands doesn't really prove if the shadow is working well, if it's long lasting, if it performs well throughout the day, and when you wear it on your eyes. So I wanted to come on here really informed and ready for you guys with this review. First of all, let's say this packaging is beautiful. I just love the design. I love the black and the gold. It's called Prism because it has some prismatic colors and it has some neutral colors to kind of create a fun eyeshadow look. Now, this review is not all rosy and colorful, okay? There are some things that I really dislike about this palette that I will tell you about. Now, I have not tried the Subculture palette. I didn't buy it because of all the negative vibe that was going around with that palette. But when I went to the Sephora and swatched it, I really liked the colors. And I thought they were pretty pigmented swatching it on my hand. But then again, swatching it on the hand is totally different. Let me give you that right now. That is totally different than actually putting it on your eyes and wearing it all day. I was really attracted to the prismatic colors in this palette. I have to be honest, that was the selling point for me. I have the Modern Renaissance palette, and I do have the Mario palette, which I absolutely love. They are my top palettes. I thought that they hit it on the mark when they made those palettes. They were buttery, they were smooth, color payoff was amazing, fantastic. I can't say anything bad about those two palettes. And so I slowly became a big fan of Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I've been using some of the products like brow stuff and things like that before, but I was really not on board with their palettes. I didn't feel like all their palettes, the limited editions that they have produced before, was on point. I did buy one of them and I was like, really, do I really want to? But then I gave it another chance, and Mario, I think Mario was the next one after that, or was it Renaissance, Modern Renaissance? I can't remember, but whichever one was next, I bought that one. I really fell in love with it, and then I said, okay, Anastasia is on my top-notch kind of palettes from now on. Opening the package, this is how the palette looks like. At first, when I got this, I was like, oh my gosh, the velvet is so beautiful. And it is. It's so beautiful. But after a while, you get glitters in there, in the package that you can't get rid of. You can't clean this out. It really is stuck there. And then one day I was doing my lashes, and I don't know, something happened where my lash glue just kind of dripped, and it made a mark on my palette. I'm so sad about that, but I can't do anything about it. I tried to rub it off and clean it up, but I couldn't clean it because of the velvet, nature of velvet. It just made a mark, which made me really sad. But it happens, and you know, expect for this to get messy if you get water on it. If you get, like me, if you get some glue on it, it's gonna look like that. But I do love the packaging. I think it's very smooth, very soft, very beautiful design. Anyway, we already talked about, covered the design. Let's talk about inside of this. Okay, so this palette, usually their palettes come with a dual-sided brush like this, which I hardly ever use because I just don't like the way this brush is, and this side is okay too. I usually just throw it aside because I don't use it. So this palette has 14 shades. There are some duochrome shadows, there are some ultra matte shades, and some metallic shades. There are 6 shades of matte here, and they're very neutral. This one is very neutral. This one is kind of a funny shade, actually. If you're really fair, I don't know if you're really gonna like this. I think that this would be kind of a transition color, but I don't know. I'm kind of not loving this color. It's kind of too yellow for me, and it gets lost with my skin. This one is kind of like What were they thinking when they put this color? It's not a very flattering shade as far as crease shade. It's kind of too of a beigey color, so I'm not really in love with this color. They have this shade and this shade, which are very close, but when you swatch them, they are actually very different. I'm going to swatch them for you so you could see. So you see this one is a lot lighter and it's kind of a salmony tone. So it's a great transition shade if you layer. So this could be your first transition shade, and then you can deepen it with this shade, or you can even deepen it with this shade, which is kind of a mauve neutral, which is nice to have in this palette, because if you wanted to create something that was cool tone, you have a transition shade that you can use. When I saw this yellow, I thought this yellow was really beautiful. The yellow is it comes off as a neon kind of yellow in the pan, but when you do put it on, it becomes kind of muddy. You actually should put some sort of bind, some sort of primer or concealer or something to bind this color on your lid, because it's very patchy. As you can see, it's pigmented, but it's very patchy. And when you put it on, it gets kind of patchy, and it gets into you just have to really pile it on to get a nice pigment. And after you put the yellow on, after a while, it kind of gets muddy. So when you put it on, it's good for inner corners, but when you put it on the lid, it kind of gets mixed up with the other shades that you have in there. It becomes kind of muddy. I tried it the other day, and I combined it with the warmer shades, and this was completely gone. The yellow tone became muddy and was completely gone by the time the day was over. So that, I would say, like 5 hours. After 5 hours, there was not much yellow, and it was kind of creasing, and it was not looking good at all. So you definitely need to have a base under this. Yeah, I'm not sure. This color, it just didn't work for me. It worked best as an inner corner color. The satiny shades here, the chrome shades, are very beautiful. They're very pigmented. These two are the most pigmented. I think these are considered the duochrome. I'm not sure which one is considered duochrome, but this is very pigmented. You see the green is really, really beautiful when you swatch it. I absolutely dislike these four. These four are the most troubling colors to me. I am not able to get this color. I had to really think about this several times. I am wearing on my eyes right now, and I had to pack it on. I had to dig in my brush. I used this brush, actually, this synthetic brush, which is by Morphe S30. This is the only brush that I was able to work with this shade and this shade. I tried even using these with my fingers, and I wanted to try putting the gold, packing on the gold, and usually that works with a lot of palettes. It's still, I couldn't get a good color payoff out of these. It's such a weird shade. On my brush, you don't see anything. You see that? It's like chunky little things of glitter, and you have to definitely have something to bond with. I even used these wet, and it didn't really work as well as I thought. Usually these shimmery chrome colors, once you use it wet, your brush wet, they become really amazing and so pigmented, and some even make it look really buttery on the eyes, but not this palette. It's still, I couldn't get a good color payoff out of these. It was just not working out. And I really had to work to get this gold in here. I really had to just dig really aggressively with the brush. Same with this shade. I think that I don't know what happened with the formulation of these. This one here in particular is the one I really not loving at all. On my finger, you see it's a great color. It's a beautiful color. It has a little bit of gold shift, and it's really pretty, kind of a shell color. But when you put it on the eyes, it just fades. It fades into nothing. The only colors I really like working with are the matte shades. And these two shades are nice. The black is really perfect. It's very dark, deep black. You can line your eyes with it, or you can make a nice smoky eye. So the black is really nice. This palette is a limited edition, so it's only meant for the holidays. This is definitely not the palette that you want to use, if you are the first time user of eyeshadows, if you're not very familiar with eyeshadows and things like that, I wouldn't necessarily go with this kind of palette. This is very confusing in ways that you don't know how to use the shades. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I am not really happy with this palette. I don't think it's the best palette out there for holidays, especially. All these brands are coming out with holiday palettes and things like that. There is so much more, so many better options for gifts and things like that. I don't really like it. I'm sorry to say, I don't really like this palette. And look, it just got really dirty right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, I put all this powder all over it. If you're thinking about getting their palette, I would definitely recommend Modern Renaissance palette. Even though I haven't done a review on my YouTube channel for that palette, I absolutely recommend that 100%. Cannot go wrong with that. If you're thinking about getting a gift for someone or just buying it for yourself, I would definitely say grab that one. I don't know why they changed their formula. I wish that they would go back to their old formula that they use for the Modern Renaissance and the Mario palette. I think they had a winning formula. They had it so good, and I wish that they would go back to it. I really debated whether I should make this video or not because I didn't want to knock any brand down, and that's not my point of making this video. I just wanted to inform you as a consumer what you're getting and what my thoughts are. These are purely my thoughts. I mean, someone could have a better experience with their palette. I don't know. But for me, it just didn't work out as well as I thought and I was hoping. And so I'm definitely gonna, next time I'm gonna maybe listen to more reviews and I don't know, maybe I should do my own reviews. What do you think? Should I just buy these and do my own reviews and give you my own pure thoughts, or should I wait a while and see what other people are saying about it before I do? The one reason I didn't buy this Subculture palette was because of the reviews. And this time I didn't want to watch anyone because I wanted to make sure that this was all my own thoughts and feelings about this palette. I didn't want to be persuaded by anyone's ideas or thoughts. So I did just that. And so that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you liked it, please give this review a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!